there's just no way Poppy's going to die this game. I feel like Weibo slammed them in draft. I'm going to be interested to see how this works out, but if Yagao does not go absolutely crazy or Bin does go absolutely crazy, it's like, I don't know, man.
I mean, I've cast the LPL for 3 years. I couldn't really tell you how many times Yagao I've seen play Akali. He has 4 total games in Akali over his entire career.
Wait,
so
is it Graves top?
That appears like it might be the case, my friends.
I think it's still swap. I think they still have 4 seconds.
I'm not going to get ahead of myself here.
This is obviously a throwback to like 2021 when EDG won, and this was like all the Flandre won with. But like, it is something that like in Chinese solo queue is huge, both in mid and top. Like you play a ton of this Graves, you go for this double lifesteal build, going for like BT and even the Immortal Shield bow, and you're just nigh impossible to push out a lane in that spot.
There was for a while a lot of people were playing also these Ignite Graves tops and like really cheesy builds. I don't know if we're gonna get that or if it's gonna be TP, but this is interesting. Not what I was expecting. I thought the Poppy top would have been pretty smart because you get the economy on the Poppy. Poppy's gonna be really hard to kill even if it's in the jungle, but I just think having a super strong frontliner, you know, with that up in the top lane would have made a lot of sense. But this is going to be interesting to see how this does work out. Very unexpected picks. The tournament is taking quite a turn away from where we started, right? It's been all about range supports in bot lane. Now it's a double AD carry stuff. We have 4 Halo Blades AD carries that are just going to be autoing each other in the bot lane, and we have Graves top, meanwhile, in the top lane.
This is just a time machine. We're already going back to spring where we had the Varus and the Caitlyn's and the Ashes in the bot lane. Now we're going to step back to 2021 with the Graves top lane coming through. We're going to go back to Misfortune Zyra in like 2 games' time.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Zyra Ash later on today. Is that game 5? Well, that's what comes out.
All right, let's get into it. Summoner's Rift for game number 3 here in the series. A reminder as we kick things off, connect your League of Legends account with Prime Gaming to grab the exclusive Braum W emote, flex it on all your friends and enemies. Weibo now moving to defensively protect their own red buff. Obviously, it's not a full-on invade coming out from BLG, but they do throw down the ward on the red so they can have knowledge of when that started up.
Yeah, going to be able to try to track Weiwei here. And one thing I will say, to kind of talk a little bit about maybe the thought process here from the Shy, is when you have a bot lane that is this explosive, right? Your bot lane is going to be pushing. Kalista, I'm expecting, I haven't seen this matchup, I'm not going to lie, I don't know if you have, but Kalista I'm expecting to be on the back foot, absolutely, and to be really pushed in and getting poked, and to be basically crying for the jungler. And then on the top side, you're going to have a ranged top laner that if you can win that 1v1 is going to be in a great spot up there to be able to bully Bin and potentially not get attacked at all by Shun if he has to be bot side.
Well, that's the thing. Crisp is really good against both of the AD carries on the opposite side. The auto attack slows make it very difficult for Chris to operate. You outrange the Caitlyn with your own skill, and you're able to trade auto attacks against her as well. So honestly, I think the Ashe is just the perfect spot, and you are the one that picked yourself into this.
All right, we had a late invade into the bot side jungle coming out from Weibo here as the Poppy is going to start up at the enemy wolf camp.
Poppy, I think, is going to try to make it split map. He starts on the wolves because he can just take that even if it's contested. It's really easy to take. I wonder if he is going to go for this or if he's going to cross map. Yeah, I think he's just going to do 3 camps and dive bot, and they're going to try to stack the wave and push. And this is the Weibo Classic, right? And at the same time, Shun should know this, but if he clears top to bot, then he's not getting camps, right? So he has to either make the decision, do I go cross map and invade the enemy blue and try to get those camps, or do I have to go bot to protect? And if you do that, there's no camps there for you to farm, so Weiwei is just naturally going to be able to get ahead, because even if he gets dissuaded there, he can go back to his side of the map, farm it up, and now Shun has been spotted, and he's going to get the bad news that his blue buff is already gone.
This is the extra control that the Ashe offers you again. Even this early on in the game, it's so obnoxious as a jungler to have that hawk shot tracking you. Shun now moving into the bot side river. Weiwei has made it back over to his own half of the map. He didn't do the full clear of that bottom side enemy jungle, leaving the guard behind. And Shun now going to move up in here. He thinks there's still one camp.
I think Shun was thinking that maybe Weiwei was in that bot side rush and was going to walk up, and I think that's why he's waiting in Pixel, because it's obviously much too early for Scuttle Crab, so I think he's thinking, hey, maybe he's still over here and he'll actually face check me, and he had a ward, they had a defensive ward on the Gromp, so he knew he had to take it back, so he knew that Weiwei would be level 2 and he would have a level advantage, so I think that's why he spent the time there. But unfortunately for him, not able to get it, Yagao likely not going to get solo killed, but is being pushed back pretty heavily in this matchup.
I was going to say, like, for Yagao, I think of him for, like, his Zoes, his Syndras, he's not a big Akali player. I'm kind of surprised to see him bring it out here, because as you already said, you need kind of more to do with the front line, and Yagao, he's just going to continue to improve the more and more he falls behind him.
It's kind of a series of first, we got the Velvet coming out, now we're getting all this shenanigans down in the bot lane, so it is really a different style of game. Weiwei is here, and Shun has been spotted.
All right, potential 3v3 like we were talking about maybe happening back in Champ Select as Elk and On do have the push here in the bottom lane. Looking to Venus Ash back a little bit. Weiwei coming up towards that tri-rush here yet again. Shun going to step back, drop a ward just to keep an eye on where the Weibo jungler might be.
Nice pathing here from Weiwei though to keep his bot lane safe. He can't go for this though.
Well, nicely done there, getting the quick vault breaker that doesn't get blocked by the Sunpath presence.
Still though, it's kind of them poking Weiwei away from this, and now they continue to keep this pressure on bot side. So with Weiwei taking that step forward, he's actually caused a bit of issues. And I was about to say he's doing really well of like, hey, Raptors down into Crux, so then he's still beside bot lane, into red, leaning bot side again to make sure that they're safe under the terror. But now he's causing, oh, hang on now.
Elk taking a good chunk of damage there as On fires back towards Crisp. Elk and Crisp both pretty low now.
He gets chunked down, but they can just push this in that base. And yeah, he did go longsword 3-pot, but so did Light. And Light is out of potions, and he's down over 10 CS. We'll see how much he can actually pick up here. But bot lane definitely not going the way that I expected it to go. And Elk playing it out really, really well.
Yeah, I really did think that with the extra range advantage that you have as Crispy, be able to push back a little bit harder, but On just meant to clear out the waves alongside how really effective has made it super tough. And with that bot side pressure now, Shunny's going to pick up that first round.
And obviously we can't discount the power of a Caitlyn this early on. You have that Hail of Blades. If you're hitting a Q, you're stepping forward, getting those 3 autos. Caitlyn does have that long range, and this is exactly what you want to see when you're playing Kalista style. If you can get pushed down on bot side, immediately kill that dragon on spawn, which they are going to be able to do, this really does put you off to the races. It's so difficult to contest Kalista around these early dragons. Sure, Weiwei's going to take some camps back on the top side, but BLG already stacking them up.
I'd rather have the early dragon than an early extra chicken camp, so BLG will be content about that one. Up there in the top lane, you can already see a farm advantage for the Shy. The Graves was the counter pick into the Aatrox for this one, and it's been rough laning phases for Bin so far in the first 2 games.
It's really tough into these range matchups with the Shy.
Bin's going in, not going to find the knock up there on his Q2. The Shy just walks away from it.
That smoke screen was so good. So it looks a little bit silly, but in that position, he gets blinded, and you can't go for the Q3 flash, which I think he might have in another situation, but with that smoke screen down, you just end up looking silly.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the Shy is no stranger to pulling out these weird picks on the top side. Some of them have gone terribly. We go to like the Anivia top lane, that didn't work out so hot. Other ones have worked out absolutely fantastically, and thus far, this counter pick in the Graves is doing a wonderful job of keeping control over on this top side, pushing in, getting plates, and making it very difficult for Bin to really trade against.
And again, it just kind of makes it a lot of sense the more you think about it. You're going to play a ranged top laner because the enemy jungler can't be everywhere. You know, if you're thinking that your jungler is going to be down on that bot side, the enemy jungler is going to be down on that bot side, you have a range in a melee matchup where you're not going to be getting ganked, where you're just going to be constantly pushing in and trying to keep that pressure rolling here. And the Shy is just going to be going early tabbies, so is paying respect over to the damage that both Bin and Shun can do.
Also can give it a lot of long-range burst with that ultimate as well, alongside like Xiaohu setting up, or if you get that pick from Crisp. So I think for Weibo, like leaning in towards the, hey, we're going to try and use some advantages to get vision and fish for picks is going to be the way forward. But to do that, you need to get control, and right now it doesn't really feel like they have control over this bot side. Weiwei hovering down here again to try and get some sort of answer for Crisp and Light, but at the moment Elk and On are destroying bot lane.
And Elk is foregoing the early tier 2 boots that you mostly see people go, and he's just rushing straight for that Bork. So wants to get that completed as soon as possible. The sustain is going to really help to shrug off a lot of this poke that is being put down. And you can see Weiwei just can't really find an entrance into this bot lane.
And myself and Azale were chatting yesterday, like, I think Elk and On are one of 2, Ruler being the other one, Kalistas that I really saw the team being able to play effectively around. It was, hey, we want to get control of our bot, lean in towards the dragon, start stacking them, continue fighting with this aggressive Kalista at the moments when she gets her spikes. And at the moment, you've already got that dragon stacking down, and if they can continue to keep this pressure up and play around Elk and this bot lane as Shun is making his way down here, it sets up perfectly for level 6 hit. Are we looking at a potential something on this bottom side?
Elk's doing a good job trading with these Pierces on the Kalista, making sure that the Ashe and the Varus are not the same oppressive power here in this bottom lane that Elk and On were able to subject Light and Crisp to in just the previous game.
And Elk is also going 3 points Q, so he's putting more points into the Q in this heavy poke lane. You know, he's not going to be maxing E early, which makes a lot of sense as kind of a tech option here on the Kalista. You're not really going to get to trade autos with these guys very often, so it is just going to be about throwing out those Qs, trying to get that poke down. On, of course, is going to be maxing Q as well in the Caitlyn, as everyone does. And if you can hit those, hey, your poke's not bad.
It makes it very effective as well for trying to clear out the backline creeps. So oftentimes you can like set up a couple of stacks in the backline, throw a Q through, you auto, get the reset. Like it makes it very difficult then for Light and Crisp to try and play in behind their creeps, because eventually you just start to one-shot back creeps with your Q, and it makes it very easy then for you to start hitting those Qs and spears.
And now the Ashe Varus, they're 6, but who are you going to engage on? You hit the Caitlyn, going to get Kalista ulted. You hit the Kalista, going to cleanse, right? So there's not really an easy target down on this bottom side either. They are going to have that safety, but potential fight here up around the Herald.
Shun started it up. Wei and the Shy coming in to shut him down. Xiaohu might want to approach this. Well, you can see a Caitlyn trap already on that ramp. This is the extra power of the Caitlyn. Your opponents from being able to engage in the fight the way they want to. Elk is up here now as well. BLG's full 5. Weibo's full 5. Keeper's Verdict looking to make the ejection, but Elk with the save on. Wei jumps into the middle. He stole away the Rift Herald. Yagao wants to find him and get something back as Ben goes into the back line, but it's first blood over to Yagao. BLG might lose their mid laner now in response. He flashes away from the rain of arrows to stay alive. It's first blood for BLG, but objective over to Weibo.
The phase rush waddle was nearly effective for Wei, but Yagao able to shut him down as he tries to exit out stage and setting up beautifully then for the rest of Weibo to nearly get the pick, but nicely done by BLG to actually respond in kind despite the fact the Rift Herald went over to Weibo.
Yeah, the ejection coming through, and Caitlyn just went to outer space. Caitlyn was gone. I was really confused as to where it was going to end up. Ends up not being that far. Yeah, does get pulled back out from that Kalista ultimate. But at the end of the day, Wei is able to get the kill on the Herald, picks up the eye, procs the phase rush. Those little legs were hustling, but not fast enough.
Now back up in the top side, it's Elk and On deciding, all right, we're not just going to let the Shy take over the lane, put a little pressure on him after they rotated up into this top side for that Herald. Get that wave shot.
Still, though, BLG need to try and rotate Elkanon down to this dragon. You can see it started up by the Vi at the moment, so they're trying to see if they can cover for it. Yagao also moving in here. They're worried Wei will try and use this Rift Herald on the bottom side to actually be in a position to take plates for the Varus.
But you have to look up at the top lane CS. Stormrays are already done now. This is nearly a 40, well, over a 40 CS lead now at this point for the Shy. He is getting ridiculously far ahead. And it feels like, again, Finn is in a position where you're kind of wondering how much value are you going to have in this game. He is really in a tough spot, and he's just stacking up those long swords. We'll see if he is going to go in towards a lethality style build. I mean, hey, if you can get in the backline, there's a lot of low mobility champions there between the Ashe, the Varus, as well as the Syndra. But the Shy is just relentlessly pushing here, and is going to be in such a great spot.
Shy Graves going to have to get a lot of work done in this one, I think. If you have the Vi, you have the Akali. These two champions are excellent at destroying immobile backline targets. If they can get ahead and find that pressure like you're talking about on this bottom triangle for Weibo, it's a big deal.
The other thing is, you're going to have to really identify who is the best target to go for, because there's so much DPS in the Weibo composition. When you look over at BLG, yeah, Shun can fly in and pick someone out. Yeah, Gao can follow up, and you're probably going to kill that guy, but at the same time, there's Graves, there's Syndra, there's 280 carries in the bot lane. So if you're all focusing down on one target, you might just get deleted by the other three.
First turret over to Weibo, thanks to the Herald being summoned up in the top lane. They've got over a 1,000 gold lead here 12 minutes into the game. This is not a PvP-heavy game number 3. Only one kill on the board, 12.5 minutes.
I think the thing is, though, the dragon stacking for BLG will come back to bite them. If you get an Ocean Soul for BLG against the amount of poke that Weibo has, it's going to work out beautifully for you. So Weibo have to start finding ways to disrupt Elkanon from not just continuously getting this pressure around the map.
Well, and that's why I expect them to now take this lead from the Shy and bring it down to the third dragon. I am expecting them to contest there. We'll see if they do elect to do that, because it's a 1k gold lead for Weibo, but the Shy is nearly 2,000 gold ahead, right? So the rest of his team is behind. When you get this sort of a lead, especially when you're investing the Herald up towards topside, you now need to take that and pay it forward. You need to make the investment of this pick, of that objective, really worth it for your team by showing up huge in a team fight.
Serrated Dirk, second item there. Started up for the Shy as he and Weiwei are going to look for Bin. World Ender as he tries to get away through the smoke. Minion Wave arrives in time to block any more follow-up auto attacks. Long range Ash Arrow finds Elk, but he's quick on the cleanse, so there's no follow-up from the Chains of Corruption. And he and On keep the pressure going to the bottom.
Shun is here as well, though. Will be spotted as he hops over on the wall there, but he's now in this bot side. Actually looks like he wants to go mid to maybe punish the fact that, well, I was going to say Xiaohu is pushed under his tower, but with how healthy he is, I don't think he can do particularly much.
And Yagao is going to get pulled to top side. You can see him on the map trying to bail out Bin, but Bin's in trouble.
Bin just walks up, immediately punished for that, forced to flash away because the steadfast presence would have blocked the Umbral dash. Yagao's rotated up, but it's way too late. The tier 2 turret's already down. Nice moves from Weibo.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Bin was too early, more so than Yagao was too late, because Yagao was making the roam. Bin just kind of walks up very confidently with no ulti, loses his flash, and wastes the timing on the roam, because then Yagao has spent that time for nothing. With Bin that low, he can't go in. There's nothing he can do there.
And now Yagao's in trouble as he's going to force away from this turret as the shot says, hey, I'm going to do the exact same. You've also got Weiwei over the wall, and Shun has kind of fumbled a lot of the plays here. Tries to hover mid, can't really cover the play, doesn't get the play on bot side, and now resets as Yagao needs him in mid lane as well. So a lot of these plays being fumbled by BLG, and Weibo capitalizing well.
Weibo are just putting such an emphasis on stacking as much gold as humanly possible. And we have to see, is it going to be the investment now towards this dragon? Because that next dragon is going to be up in 120. Look at the lane economy snapshot. 2,400 gold lead basically up in that top lane is enormous. And he's just been getting so paid. The locket done now for Weiwei as well, which I think is super smart because you are not the target and you're not the one that matters at all in this game. It's Weiwei and 4 carries. So you just want to basically stand in the backline, pop the locket, hope that they survive, and can peel for each other with damage.
Elk flashing out of the way of the enchanted crystal arrow. Remember, he already used the cleanse on the last one, so this time he had to use the flash instead, but he escapes the engage and keeps his life. And
the steadfast presence as well there to make sure that he couldn't hop away from the ultimate, so has to burn his flash. Now with 20 seconds on towards Rift Chow, 40 seconds on towards Dragon. That's a major summoner spell that's down for the BLG AD card.
Exactly, and you have to make that decision. Are you willing to actually fight this without that summoner on Elk? Are you still confident that you can be able to take it? Because Bin is not going to be very useful. Look at his itemization. He's basically got nothing. The Shy is nearly on 2 full items, and Bin doesn't even have as much of his second item. Excuse me, doesn't have as much of his first item as the Shy has as of his second.
Yeah, it's a pretty massive gold gap there in the top lane. Bin's going to have a long journey to a point of being useful in this game number 3 as well. Again, in game number 2, he had a couple of big plays, stopping the Shy's teleport, right? Distracting the enemy team while the rest of the squad took Elder, but his early games, his lane phases have been rough.
The thing is, though, you don't really have control here for BLG. They want to push sides, but Weibo already effectively responding. The Shy is soloing now Rift Herald as Weibo are going to slowly start to move in here and see if they can use the poke, but they don't have any vision.
All right, On's going to try to keep him off as the Drake is started up. Elk with a save, making sure that the Unleashed power cannot kill off the Caitlyn. Weibo know that they would be 4v5 in this. The Shy is their strongest dude, and he's on the other side of the rift. So this should be Drake traded away for Herald. Weibo again continuing along this line of flood your team with as much gold as you can get, using the Rift Herald immediately here in the mid lane. Wanted to crack the tier 1 turret, but BLG is stepping up. The tier 1's going to fall. Scatter the Weak misses. Now Yagao's ready to go in. He drops the smoke. They try to engage, but Weiwei's doing a great job stopping him. He immediately drops off Shun as Weibo trying to regroup, and it's BLG not getting anything. Piercing arrow flies out to find Elk in the Fury back into the fight, but he's still at about half HP. They tried to punish him, tried to stop him. Elk nearly died.
They tried to separate Weibo, but it came back to bite them. You can see Shun engaged onto the Poppy, thinking, hey, if I can keep this Poppy from getting that steadfast presence, Yagao can operate in that backline. But instead, Shun gives his life, Yagao can't get the damage off, and Weibo are able to turn it around.
But at the same time, Yagao solo forced both flash from Crisp and Xiaohu, so was able to get some of those summoners down, and does show that he does still have that threat on the back line. But I'm really surprised that they elected to just go trade for Herald, because now you're one mistake away from giving over Soul, and then I think your advantage doesn't matter at all, right? So I do think that this was potentially a misplay from Weibo, but at the end of the day, it's just going to matter, can they actually make it happen? Weiwei does get the knock on the wall there against Shun. They're able to burst him down, but you can see Yagao was causing chaos in that back line, and now we're just setting up for this massive fight around the Ocean Soul, because if you give over Ocean Soul, you're only 2k ahead. It is worth way more than that. Even the individual stats for the 3 dragons is worth about that much, and you are so poke heavy that I feel like your comp is going to kind of cease to function if you give it up.
I do think, though, the difference now is that the Shy is absolutely monstrous. He's 2,500 gold again up on bin, and as well, he's going to be having that third item. If you can get the Shy in onto the backline of BLG, he will decimate people. And I think for the moment, if Weibo, with having that mid lane turret down, with having the Shy be as strong as he is, they can actually start to look to take over in side lanes to a certain extent as well, as long as Weiwei shadows Xiaohu in that side.
Right, Yagao has not been detected here, waiting around in these brushes, but there's a lot of Weibo players around. BLG would have to send the whole kitchen sink after him to make this work. Yagao gonna get spotted, goes into the smoke, Scatter the Weak knocks him out of it, but he can escape in time. The mobility of the Akali, the extra Shuriken flip there on the very end, as Weibo continues to tier 1 turret lane. They want to get more money at these objectives. It's barely hanging on, but they need another wave to finish it off.
They'll be able to keep this pressure up, though. Bin coming in over the wall will be spotted, but honestly, for the moment, with Weibo positioned like this, Weibo in the front, it's not impossible for BLG to get in, especially Yagao has no flash, has to use the stun.
The engage coming out from the buy, as Sean just immediately gets shut down, but they will trade him away for Weiwei. Both junglers out of the picture, but Weibo still gets that tier 1 turret, the objective that they came for, going even on kills.
And that's the thing, if you're going to play this front to back, Weiwei's able to just take all that damage. Yes, he will go down, but you're then not able to follow up, because that's really your sole engage to, unless Oak wants to send on in. So Weibo able to get the bot lane tower. You'll see the TP coming through from Yagao onto the top side, though. He wants to try and answer for the turret on the opposite front.
And Weiwei is going to get harder and harder and harder to actually take down as he's starting to build up armor now. He obviously has tabbies. He's going in towards Sunfire because you are full physical on the other side. Yes, there's Akali, but Akali cannot realistically ever win a fight where you're hitting the Poppy. Like, it's just not going to happen, right? So the only people that are going to be hitting you are physical damage. And as long as Weiwei is keeping that gold accelerated, it's going to be tough for them to answer. Shun is able to find the one pick, but it's going to cost him his life, and they lose the tower anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it was everything sent in, and you can see immediately Xiao, who already has a ton of those orbs on the ground, he's able to pick off Shun alongside the rest of, or sorry, forcing the rest of BLG back. And I think now you're in a position where, coming out of this, Yagao using his TP to the top side, I think was a bit of a mistake. I think you kind of needed BLG to have Yagao with the opportunity to try and play for side lanes, because you've now got Xiao who has TP, the Shy has TP, Dragons in 50 seconds, and you can send both of these guys off to side lanes to make sure that you're in an uncomfortable position as BLG to try and contest the Dragon.
Weibo has slowly been climbing up this gold lead a little bit more here and there. 2,500 gold overall as a team right now, but this Drake is so huge. They need to stop this. The power of the Shy in this fight will be critical. You can see he doesn't have the third fully completed item here just yet. Shun with a quick little bit of a trade onto Weiwei, but it's BLG with control of the bot side river. Having that priority more important for this squad than it normally would be, because of the fact that you have Caitlyn. You want to be there first. You want to set up the traps and give yourself the best possible chance here on this. Yagao going in here after Shy. The Shy gets away.
But still, nice little bit of chunk. You know, they got a little bit of damage on Weiwei, a little bit of damage on Light. Now they get a bit of chunk there on the Shy. Luckily, he was able to pick up some honey fruit, which is really nice on this Ocean Rift to try to heal back up, because doesn't have that much sustain in the kit. But now BLG starting this up. They want to try to secure the soul here. AD's not with them, though. Elk's in a bit of an awkward spot. Yagao's threatening the flank.
Elk's coming around from the side. Caitlyn traps have been placed down, but Weiwei's always going to be the guy eating the cupcake. Ocean Drake started up. A little bit of poke coming out as On loses half HP. Yagao posing a threat here from the side. Wants to try to distract him long enough here for the Drake to be claimed by the rest of the team. But Shun's going to be killed. Weiwei's in a bit. Light kills off Shun. The Drake will be claimed by Weibo. And the fight's still going. Bin wants to fight back, but he ain't going to find anybody here just yet. Ocean Drake going to Weibo finally. As Weiwei goes up for tackle onto On, but he won't get him as he goes back over the wall. And now Yagao having to run from the Shy. It's a 12-gauge goodbye. And the Shy and Weibo take the fight.
It was entirely spread out, but the fact that Yagao could not get access to the backline the way he wanted, the Weiwei could cover the front line, they pick off Shun in the pit, and now they might just get the Baron on top of it.
I think they're going to get the Baron for sure. Shun is still dead, just now respawning. They're going to run right out, but this is going to go down pretty quick. We'll see if BLG can get here in time.
BLG trying to close the distance to this objective, but Chris picks that one up. Baron over to Wade.
And what a sick composition for Weibo to come out with in game number 3. Ton of squishies. Weiwei has to play front line, but this guy's been so insanely good on the poppy. And you'll see it here again. Yago tries to threaten the Shy, forces him back into River, but Weiwei then steps up, and Weiwei's going again!
We're already back into live. Callista ulti's going to be used to save on. Elk kiting back, trying to get the distance here. The Shy's ulti doesn't have the damage there to kill off the BLG AD carry. But remember that Ben's still dead for another 10 seconds. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is found. Yagao follows CC, scout of the week, and Yagao is the one who eats another face full of buckshot. The Shy absolutely dominating this game here on the grave.
And there's just nothing standing between them and the base now. Weibo pushing down mid, getting closer and closer to pushing this series towards match point. BLG got no answer.
Right as Ben comes back to life, Yagao gets picked off, and it feels like BLG just has not been able to regain their footing after losing that soul that felt so imperative for them being able to stay in this game.
I mean, this has been absolutely beautiful to watch from Weibo. And for BLG now, they need to try and find something to stop this, but with the amount of poke, with the amount of setup Weibo have when they're going for these sieges, it becomes so difficult to try and find an answer. We already saw how desperate they looked trying to take the tier 1 on boss, and now they need to try and defend the tier 2, but it's gone.
There's the TP though. This is going to be the final fight, I think, potentially.
All right, Yagao needs to find a massive angle here. Is immediately a flank getting engaged on the high.
Oh my god!
With Yagao. Weiwei now trying to get away, but Ben leads the charge here with the A-Truck. Shun can't keep chasing any further. Chris trying to escape the Akali, but not quite yet.
Wow, nice!
Has no chance.
Nice pop! Oh my god!
When Weibo's this far ahead.
The Shy is styling on the bin, and that is not a sentence that I expected to say coming into this series today. 5-0 on the grave.
Sabi na WBG mananalo dyan eh.
He's decimating the base.
Ano kung BLG tapos JDG na ako dyan.
He is completely unstoppable. Both blue side games from Weibo, they came out with real cool drafts and have decimated BLG. The Graves now so far ahead. You respect the attempt here because BLG could not play the game slow. They were really betting everything on this Ocean Dragon. It didn't work out, so they go in for the engage. Light gets ulted onto, and the R1 there from Yagao connects. He doesn't even commit the E to actually get this kill on the Light, which was pretty nicely done. Then he's able to get it on Chris, but the problem is on the other side, the team is getting decimated. The Shy kills off Elk, and he is completely uncontested. So yes, even though Yagao is running rampant in the backline, from Weibo are just so much stronger.
The Xiaohu stat of the week there to stop Ben from being able to get that last little sliver of HP on the Poppy and keep Weiwei alive. It's an 8,000 gold lead. It's total control over the Rift for Weibo. They're in a great spot to secure the win here in Game 3.
Man, I have no idea what the meta is anymore, and I'm all for it. This is such a sick series to get to see everything coming to a culmination, to see exactly which one of these LPL teams will move forward into finals, and they're not leaving anything behind. The fact that now you've got the Shy controlling on this top side, he's going to be able to keep pushing in, put the pressure there. I imagine you're going to have Weibo as they reset here, start to look towards separating, going forward on that bot side, but I think that could be a bit dangerous just because the Shy is so much of your damage right now.
Shy is 5,000 gold ahead of Ben right now, and that could be a bit of a problem. That is absolutely ridiculous. He is completely destroying Ben in all 3 games. BLG really need Ben to be able to step up and start having a better series, I think, if they're going to be able to claw this one back, because this one is very nearly toast. BLG are going to have to try to get the Ocean Soul and see if they can claw something back, but I just don't think they're in a position to be able to do it.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's a full send on the Soul, and maybe you can try to hold on, but it's so difficult from this far behind. Weiwei on the Poppy, the mega tank there on the front line. You already said it earlier, Azael. You can really only hurt him with the Akali when he builds like this, but that's not going to be a viable plan. Again, they have to try to keep these guys safe, but it's so difficult when the power of Weibo is so far past what they've got. BLG forced back into their own jungle. Control over the bot side River for Weibo. Control over the Drake for Weibo. Yagao on trying to come in as Shun's going to be stopped. Presence. They knock him right back in the pit. Ben's been killed by Chris Bob. The Shy goes in. On gets saved for a moment, but now Elk could pay the price. The Shy continuing to chase with Weiwei right behind him. And Yagao into the back looking for light, but the Akali has no damage. He can't get the assassination.
Oh my god!
It's 2 kills. A TP up into the base. They do not want to stop getting TP. On should drop here next. With the orb. Weibo, the Game 3 draft 3 different marksmen, 1 frontliner, and a 13-4 absolute obliteration of BLG. Weibo move on to match point.
And 1 game away from reaching finals. What a
Tapos,
performance from
JDG
Weibo.
81, no pa lang.
Incredible today. Nowhere was safe for BLG. They retreated to the base with a double TP behind them.